And as we continue with today's important conversations, now we shift our focus to a topic that underpins everything, mental health. Mental health is not just a personal issue, it's a workplace issue, a leadership issue, and a human issue. And as we build systems around dignity and fair work in AI and BPO spaces, we also must make space for emotional and mental well-being. It's now my pleasure to welcome a passionate mental health advocate and expert in this space, Kauna, who will take us through a thoughtful presentation on the importance of mental health in our industry and our daily lives. So let's welcome Kauna.
Thank you so much, Caro, and thank you, everyone. I know we've had a long two presentations. Maybe we can just stand up for a minute and stretch. So who has a Swahili exercise for us? Yes. So someone can lead us in that for the next 1 minute. No one?
No, everybody, wherever you are, find some space, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Okay, move on now. Anyway, get some good space where you can be here. Feel your backbone. Feel your backbone is moving. Anyway, like this, up, at the back. Be mindful of, be mindful of the person near you. Go to the other side. Stretch it as if you are pulling the other one. And then hold it up. Buka, tena, handa kimbo, back, stretch a little bit, kunja mgongo, shika magoti, shika toes, shika magoti, shika kiuno, back, stretch on your toes. Spring a little bit. When your toes spring, after limbo, feel your calves. Like that.
All right, round of applause for everyone. All right, thank you so much for that. I think we've been sitting for so long, and that is much needed. So today, I'm not going to speak so much around the issues. It's just for us to talk about what is the care that workers need. So I think myself, I'm already there. And as a former Facebook content moderator, I myself have experienced a lot of mental health issues, and hence it's important we keep having this conversation, and also what do we need to do? After we've heard about the issues, what next? So you're all welcome. So protecting the protectors, we are the protectors, isn't it? Yeah. So understanding mental health and healing strategies for data labelers, content moderators, and tech workers. So this is just a quote. We did it with Julia. I saw her, she's online. So even though I have a background in psychology, I was studying it, I didn't even know I was experiencing mental health challenges. But then I started having panic attacks, anxiety, and I feel cold all of a sudden, faint. So this is my own experience when I started working as a content moderator in 2019. So what's the problem? So we've seen that in content moderation, data labeling, tech work, it carries a lot of serious mental health risk. especially for African laborers. Urgent need to implement standardized measurement, trauma-informed care protocols, fair wages, and legal protection. So we can see there's an intersection of mental health and all the other presentations that we've had earlier regarding decent work, decent pay, and all that. So trade unions play a pivotal role in organizing these hidden workers and pushing the systematic change in digital labor supply chains. So there's an interconnection of all this with our mental health. So when any of this or all of it, it's not properly implemented, we can see that it affects our mental health. When you're not able to unionize and organize with your other workers to be able to air out the issues and concerns you have at work, it really pushes you to the edge. So we begin with the trauma-informed onboarding, which prepares you for potential psychological impacts and introduces resilience tools such as journaling, emotion recognition, and boundary setting from day one. So continually update these skills through refresher workshops such as this, and then use psychoeducation to understand key concepts of PTSD. Anyone who knows the meaning of PTSD? Yes. All right, a round of applause. One sweet for you. Secondary trauma, burnout, and moral injury, knowing that this is a normal response to distressing exposure helps reduce shame and isolation. So we've mentioned a bit of stigma earlier in the conversation. So what is mental health? So mental health is your emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how you think, feel, behave, and relate with others or interact. It also impacts how you handle stress, make decisions, and bounce back from difficult situations. So when you're doing this work, we realize that you're unable most of the times to bounce back. So you are stuck in your feelings, you're stuck in your emotions, you've seen a lot of contents during the day, you go home, you're unable to switch back to the home environment now. And then you realize that when you have family members, spouse, children, that also impacts them because you've come home with the luggage and everything that you've seen during the day. So mental health is like a phone battery. When it's full, you vibe, you thrive, and you connect easily. When it's low, even small things feel too much. Can we relate to that? Yeah. So mental health includes emotional health, like we say, how you cope with your feelings like sadness, anger, joy, fear. Do you punch things? Do you throw your phone when you're angry? Do you shut the door behind you and leave others out? You don't speak to them for hours, for days. Psychological resilience, how you process your thoughts and stay grounded. So the social well-being, you relate with your friends, family, bae, crew, your fellow colleagues. And this is where you also realize that when we started work in 2019, from my own experience, we had colleagues who were very bubbly, they come to the room, they make everybody smile. AC is laughing, she can remember. So those people who come to the production floor and everybody is happy. But by the time it's 2020, 2021, 2022, you could see these people are different. They are not the same people. Mercy, we know some of them. And then you can see even some of them will go out, take a smoke break. You can see changes, real changes in behavior and personality. So these are some of the warning signs, though we'll go into that. There are a lot of them. Flashbacks, nightmares, lack of sleep, and all those. So the common mental health illnesses that are associated with tech work, such as content moderation, data labeling, and all, is PTSD, the post-traumatic stress disorder, and the secondary traumatic stress, which is STS. So the secondary traumatic stress is when you are not the one who experienced the trauma. You are not the person who is there experiencing whatever that is happening, but of course, you live in that feeling and that experience for a very long time. So we've seen that when I watch a video of someone committing suicide, I'm not the one, but then that lives with me for almost forever. I'm sure if I could ask some of us, what is that content that never left you? You can remember the day you did it, you actioned it, the time, who was with you. Can any one of us remember the content you actioned? Can we have one or two? Yes, Marvin, you want to say something? Yeah.
I remember in COVID. In COVID, there was a family that was scared about the whole outbreak. So the dad hangs the kids and hangs himself after, but live on Facebook. So, yeah. And for me, it was not something I can say I expected or I didn't see it coming. Mm-hmm. I thought it's like a joke, you know. When you get one of those, you don't know what they're going to do. So, yeah. But I do remember, and it's not nice. Like.
All right. Thank you, Marvin, for sharing. We have one more. Yes.
For me, it is worse that I actioned the ticket in lifetime, but it is worse that the activity is a historical fact right now, and it keeps coming up in different dialogues, and it keeps reopening the wounds. So it doesn't feel any good.
Yeah. So thank you guys for sharing. So that's an example of secondary traumatic stress, because it's vicarious trauma or compassion fatigue. So it's a condition where individuals experience emotional distress and trauma symptoms after being exposed to traumatic experiences of others, often through their work or personal relationships. So we can see this is true work. It's not directly affecting them, but it has already affected them in their own mental health. So the symptoms could be intrusive memories, nightmares, hypervigilance, avoidance. Repeated exposure can lead to secondary traumatic stress and also PTSD. The next one is depression and generalized anxiety disorder. So the feeling of hopelessness, persistent sadness, you are just sad for no reason. Insomnia, where you cannot sleep, you always panic, you worry about things that doesn't even matter. I could be standing here and you're worrying, what if she falls? What if the mic stops working? So it could be something as silly. You might think it's silly, but this is a sign of generalized anxiety disorder. Have you been standing in front of, trying to cross the road, and then you see someone crossing from the other side, and you are scared for them, that they can be hit down by a car and whatever? These are the signs. So I might not be an expert in everybody's experiences, because as humans, we are all unique, but this will just guide us to know that there's a need for us to look deeply into our mental health. So Kenyan content moderators, based on what we've seen, and there are a lot of articles that have been written on that, have been diagnosed with PTSD, generalized anxiety disorder, and major depressive disorder due to the work condition. So when the depression persists over 6 weeks, it's considered now a clinical depression and needs to be treated. So we have burnouts and compassion fatigue. So for burnouts, these are things that we always feel, I'm just tired. How many of us, you sleep for like 8 hours or more, you wake up and you are extremely tired? My hands are up because I'm also one of them. You've slept for hours, and then we are waking up and you're like, oh my God, this is another day. Should I cancel all my meetings? Should I tell this person and form a story? It has, I didn't check my calendar, You think about so many reasons and excuses you'd give if you have a function or anything to do. So this is an emotional exhaustion. it decreases your effectiveness because you are not able now to function. And we've seen that even for content moderators, data enablers, people who have been exposed to so much trauma and toxic contents, it's even difficult to keep a job. It's difficult for you to keep a job because you are tired, always. So if you're expected to be at work at 7, at 11 a.m., you are still tired. Someone is relating to that. So how can you do that 5 times in a week? That's a huge problem. So it's not even about you doing the job, you've left the job, you've carried those baggages now outside of the job. And we've also seen that most of the workers who have left this work are even more traumatized, going through more mental health challenges. Because now you've left, but you've not really left. The emotions you've pushed, you've repressed, you didn't want to deal with it, you don't want to think about it, I don't want to remember. By the time you're not going to work to review those contents, they start coming up. They will start coming up in full force. All the contents you've ever watched, they start rushing back into your reality. And then you wonder, am I losing my mind? Am I okay? These are the signs that one should look out for and seek immediate help. Because people will just try to be like, oh, I'm struggling. Yet we have money to buy shoes, sneakers, and whatever. But if it was a headache, your leg is paining you, can't move, you will quickly go to the pharmacy. You'll even call your people, I'm not feeling well, I don't have enough money to go to the hospital, and they would send. So why do we always feel ashamed? We feel reluctant to seek for help. Why is that so? Anyone? Yes.
As a person who have suffered anxiety, I think I was afraid of being labeled, especially here in Africa. When you have any issues related to your mental health, unaitwa mwenda wazimu. So it's not easy to have that conversation, even with people you trust, even with people like family, because they are afraid of agreeing. Because I remember when I started having major panic attacks and the anxiety, I told my family about it, and they said, you just need to push on, because when we take you to the hospital, you're going to be referred to Madari, which is going to make things worse. So I think, again, it's the society, it's the being conditioned. It's also, we cannot have honest conversation even with friends and everybody else. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Joanne, for sharing. Someone wants to share?
I would like to say that sometimes you don't even know if you have mental health issues. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, for me, there's always that comparison of if you tell guys that you have mental issues, they always compare you to other guys have work, other guys have this. Other guys don't have work, other guys don't have this, and they always mention the advantage that you have. Yeah.
It's like you have a job, so what's your problem?
Yeah, what's your problem? Yeah.
Okay, someone is there.
Okay, personally, I would like to say it's maybe because of people's ignorance, and they think anytime you're having maybe, for me personally, it's anxiety, and currently I'm experiencing it. And they think you don't know what you're talking about, and so they're like, oh no, you guys are just putting things on yourselves. I don't know what. So I'm like, I don't want people thinking maybe I'm just collecting things and putting them on myself just to look cool or something. So I just keep quiet. I'm like, the people who are close to me are the only ones who know what I go through.
And let me ask, the people close to you, are they also tech workers or?
One of them is my best friend. I think you all know her, Carol. Not you all. Yeah. And the other people are the people who I live with, because they've seen me going through panic attacks, and yeah, you cannot pretend. Yeah, so they know. But other people, maybe in a forum like this, or maybe I'm in a like social place, I just choose to keep quiet. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so for me, I kind of used to tell people sometimes if I go to therapy, and if you look at the faces of the people, if you tell them that you've gone to therapy, they just ask you, are you okay? Like, you know, it's like they expect you to be maybe picking trash on the road, or like, you know, yeah. So I think most of the times it's a bit, and actually when you talk about it, sometimes people come up and say, I've done therapy as well, you know, but ideally, the exposure and people don't know about mental health, and it just creates a loophole whereby you can't just come up anywhere and talk about. I think here is a safe space, right? I don't think you can come up and just randomly and talk about the fact that you go to therapy because you're looking for a job, you know? Yeah, you're looking for a job, and I think few people have actually had the chance to like get to know what it's about, and it's always easy to have a conversation with such people, which is very hard to find. Like maybe in 10 random people, 10 have never been to therapy. So basically, you just have to carry your own weight, and you know, the support system, the people close to you. Like I know very well, like Essie. If I told her about trypophobia, she knows, because we've been through the same thing on shift, so she knows, you know. But it's not like as if she's around all the time. So basically, the exposure is not so good in the public. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Kauna, just to add one more thing. Yeah, just to add on what Marvin said, lack of exposure. Because one thing for sure I can tell you, none of my family members, like my brothers, my sisters, my mom, know anything. Like whatever I go through, they don't know, and I'm afraid. Like I'm not afraid. I just ignore. I don't want to go there because they won't understand. Personally, I know they won't understand why I'm scared of going in a room. Like I have social anxiety. They first of all then do not understand what is social anxiety. They don't understand what all these kinds of anxiety. They don't understand why I can't. You know, growing up, I was a very, like you were saying, I was smiling when you were saying about bubbly people. Currently, even Marvin was asking me, you used to be very outspoken, you used to be, and I was like, yeah, some things changes. What I usually hang on nowadays is my confidence. I'm very confident, and sometimes my confidence supersedes the anxiety. Sometimes I can be very anxious, but my confidence, I would just stand there and be like, yeah, unless now it's very active and I can't speak, and because sometimes anxiety, people who know about anxiety, it leads to panic attacks. Sometimes you're crying, people don't understand why you're crying, you're shaking. So yeah, you just choose to keep it to yourself, or just talk about it to people who understand the issue.
I think I want to add something small on what Essie is saying. Trust you me, I understand that journey. Like sitting on a matatu, and when it veers off the road, fighting for my life, trying to tell the driver, please go back to the road. I'm not comfortable, and all that conversation. But I also think another issue I think we also need to maybe put into consideration is like not having hush conversation when you're speaking about mental health. Let's just have honest conversation, because everything, like it's like a shame when you're speaking, when you're saying you're suffering mentally. Let's just start having honest conversation and just making it comfortable for someone who's suffering mental health to even like express themselves, because I think that is the very first thing we need to start from, to make these people very comfortable in speaking about their mental health. Their mental health.
Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing. Let's give them a round of applause. That's so brave. It's very brave of everyone who have spoken about their mental health issues. And like Marvin was trying to confirm, I believe this is also a very safe space where we can talk about these issues and no one feel judged. And we don't also take the conversation somewhere and be also one of those people who stigmatize others, because stigma can be in any way. When I go out there and be like, hey, do you know that Joanne also has anxiety? And then it becomes like a gossip, like a rumor, and these are one of the reasons why people don't open up to talk about their mental health. And I'm happy that most of the people who have shared has put names to how they feel. And how do we validate how they feel? We say, yes, this is your own lived experience, and it's okay to feel that way, isn't it? It's okay to feel that way. And how do we also support them is not when you say, so you feel this way. Now do we catch it? Like you said, your family member said you might be taken to Madari, but you don't just being picked and taken to Madari just like that. It doesn't happen that way. People who I did my internship in Madari, it was quite an experience, but people are not just picked and taken there. There's a whole process to that. And that's why before you reach the stage of going to Madari, what do? We need to identify those issues that we're going through and seek help as soon as possible. Like Marvin have said, they expect you when you say you're going for therapy, when you're picking things, you're removing your clothes, you're incoherent, you're talking about how you've built $20 million airport in your village, you bought an aircraft. That's when people believe that you are mentally not okay. You are not in a good state. But we don't need to go or reach to that state. And it's also part of our own responsibility. You know, most of the times when it comes to mental health, we wait for others to make that decision for us. And by the time they're making that decision, you're already pulling off your clothes. But when now, as we're seated here, when you start feeling headache, I'm sure you start whispering to your neighbor, do you have Maramoja? We do that in summer a lot. Maramoja was like, everyone has it. It's like a weed or a cocaine where you have it. Everybody's asking. At the end of the shift, everyone has taken Maramoja. But we do ask our colleagues, do you have Maramoja? Oh, you know, today I'm not feeling okay. I'm having a headache. I'm having a stomach ache. But when you're having anxiety, when we didn't sleep at night, when we're having nightmares, we hide them because of the fear of shame. So it's important that even as colleagues, we be a support system for our fellow colleagues. So we talk about the sleep disturbance, which we discussed, where you have nightmares, and also the use of substance, because that's where now it comes in, because you will just want to sleep. So you take prescribed medications that are not being given to you by a doctor. So I go to a doctor, I get sleeping pills. My colleague comes to the workplace, and he'll be like, I didn't sleep. Do you have any sleeping pill? You give them, you cut one tablet for them, and they go and take. That's substance abuse. You know, people think substance abuse is just when you smoke, you take alcohol, but even taking medications that have not been prescribed by the doctor is substance abuse, because now you don't even know the dosage, you don't know why you're taking it. You know, there's a whole lot that comes to that. So it's important that we also normalize going to the hospital when we experience this to get the proper checks, assessments, medication. I know finances could be a problem, but I know most times I tell people, when you're in a very bad state, you can't move, you call a family member, they'll quickly send you money. Isn't it? I can't see, I woke up, one of my eye, I can't see. They would even take a car and come to your house to pick you. So we should also prioritize our mental health in such a way. I haven't been able to sleep. I feel I'm losing it. I need help. Let's ask for help. Sometimes we just assume I won't get help, but unless you ask, you will not get help. And that's also a way of eradicating stigma around mental health. Because if you don't talk about it, you don't even psychoeducate your family members, you try to psychoeducate them. For me, when I started this work, at first I don't used to talk about it. But later on, I realized these are the people who would support me. So I would even share links. Any article I see around mental health, content moderation, I share. And right now, my mom is an expert. I will tell you she's an expert. She will even go online, Google it. And sometimes when we're having a conversation with my sisters, the first thing she will say, it seems like that's the impact of your job. She will even remind us. Or if I don't sleep, she'll be like, hey, this job has really done you guys bad. Because now she's informed, she understands what it is. So we have to also be intentional, because reaching out to our family members, colleagues, loved ones, wife, children, with an expert is really hard. It might take time. It takes a lot of resources. But now, you have to be intentional as you go through these issues to also educate your family members, your loved ones, your spouses, to also understand what mental health issues is. If you're able to afford therapy, you go with your partner, especially if you're married or in a serious relationship. I mean serious, not those ones that usually break your heart 10 times in a year. Not those ones. They also add to your mental health stress. If you're in a serious relationship, you're married, you're with your parents, these are people that you know you hold on to for support system, go to therapy with them, so that they can also understand what you're going through from a professional perspective, and they can be able to help you. So why this happens is because of the, of course, continuous exposure to graphic and violent content without proper time recovery. We've seen that you do these contents 50 seconds. Every 50 seconds, you see a different content. 1 minute you're seeing suicide, the next minute you're seeing a baby playing in the pool. So your mind is also in between this confused state of what am I actually going through. So you really need time for proper recovery. High performance demands, what I just said, 50 seconds, the AHT, you're thinking about accuracy, you're thinking about what if I miss this job, if I miss this tax, it means I will not get paid, isn't it? So that increases your anxiety levels. Isolation and stigma, like we've said. Inadequate therapeutic responses. So we know that the counseling systems, even in the workplace, is very poor and inadequate. And for data labelers, it's not even there at all, isn't it? So this is a very big challenge. So we need to also prioritize our self-care, which we've started having the conversation. The shifts ritual and boundaries. So use brief mindfulness exercises or journaling before and after your shift to transition mentally between work and personal life. That's where the huge problem is, where you're unable to switch back to your personal life after work. So you're consistently in the work spirit. Am I right? So if you've logged out from work, you've switched off your computer, before you log in the next time, you realize you've been thinking about the whole job that you've done. Did I action it right? How many minutes did I take? Did I take the right decision? Sometimes you go and check the policy, isn't it? And then you realize, oh, I actioned it wrong. You are anxious now when the feedback or the performance review comes out. How many tasks have I missed? How much will I be paid? I will not be paid my performance allowance for this month. Now it affects my bills. Now you start turning off your light even when you're in the room. You don't want your light to finish. You are thinking about how many packets of milk have you bought this month. You reduce it because you are anticipating your next salary will not be enough to sustain you for the month. Can we relate to that? So these are the things that brings a lot of this. So how many of us know about journaling, where you write how you feel? Yeah, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, yes, 5. So someone said they send voice notes. So you send it to someone or you keep it for yourself? For yourself. So how do you do it? I am very interested in that new. You just record your experience for the day.
It's voice notes, you just pick your phone and talk to yourself, huh?
Okay.
And then you keep it. You'll run them over later.
Okay. Yeah, so this is a new tech journaling, form of journaling, because journaling is just for you to express yourself not to share to others, just to find a way of expressing yourself, how you feel, and you find that you feel, there's a way you feel after writing it down. For most people, once they are writing it, it seems that it's coming out from your heart to the book, and then that's it. And then you can be able now to distract and do other things. And it's very important for us to journal. So if you don't have a journal today, DLA have given us some notebooks, some small notebooks. Let that be your journaling note from today. Try it and see if that works for you. So we have the physical rituals such as walking. After work, you take a walk. Deep breathing or having a designated sign-off routine that helps reset your emotional state and maintain healthy boundaries. Some people would like to cook, they would like to do laundry, they would like to pass by a bar, different experiences that people, routines that people feel helps them to recover. So these techniques are widely recommended by well-being providers like Zavo Health. They have a lot of articles and papers on mental health of content moderators and data workers. So mindfulness, guided breathing, progressive muscle relaxation, gentle movement practices, so stretching, just like the one we did earlier. It could be something small. People think like when you're doing muscle relaxation, you have to do so much. No, you don't have to do so much. It's just you being intentional and setting time for that. It helps reduce tension and ground the mind, the body-mind connection. Mind-body techniques have been documented by Zervotech as key tools to supporting emotional resilience among moderators. So please, if you have a time, go and look into this Zavo Health articles and papers. There's a whole lot that can help. So we have the grounding techniques. It's called the 5-4-3-2-1 method. So when feelings of anxiety and emotional overload arise, use this sensory-based method. Can we try this? Should we try? Okay, so let's be on our feet as we try this. Let's see how. So we are naming 5 things, what we can see. So we're going to start. What 5 things can you see? Quickly. You can list them. Yes, let's list them. The 5 things you can see.
I can see you.
I'm also part of it. Okay, and what else? We know we are so many, so we should see so many things.
A green notebook.
Yes.
Cups that look like there is beer inside.
You see, wow, some people can see like beer is inside. So what does that tell you? He's seen the weekend already. So, okay, what are the 5 things you can feel right now? What are you feeling right now? Okay.
It's hot.
Okay. Cold, hot, warm in the same room. Okay, let's go. Sweet. Really? You can feel sweet. How is that? What can we feel? Happy, sad, stressed, sleepy, tired, anxious, okay. Someone is happy. Who broke your heart? One more. Hungry, okay. So Joanne, you know what to do. Okay, what are the 3 things you can hear? Who? Fountains, okay. Okay, yeah. So what are the 2 things you can smell? Someone can smell their own self, okay. I only had one person. Smell, what can you smell? Perfume, There's no coffee, imagine, so we cannot. Chopping board. Oh, the tropical sweet. Okay. So one thing you can taste. All right, a round of applause. So how did we feel? Did it bring us back to the room to observe things that maybe even when you got to the room, you didn't see it? When we're checking out for the 5 things you can see, who saw something that they didn't even notice when they came to the room? Something that you didn't even pay attention, but when we're checking out, you saw that. Anyone? Okay, someone saw something they didn't see. So, oh, you didn't notice when you came in. So this, you can have a seat. A round of applause. Thank you so much. So this technique anchors your awareness in the present moment, isn't it? So it brings you back to the room, what's happening in the room, what's happening with the people around you, what's in this room that you've not even seen, and helps calm racing thoughts. Because for these few minutes that we were standing, everyone was in the room. I'm sure you stopped thinking about all the things you were thinking the previous minutes before we started. So it can be done quietly at your workstation. So when you're at your workstation and you feel anxious, overwhelmed, you can take a minute and just do these 5 things, and that would really help. So the micro breaks, even for me, I was guilty of this, because I realized that when you're doing this work, you want to just keep your break. Most of us do that, so that you just take it at once. You don't want to take 5 minutes, 10, and then you don't have break. You want to have that 30, 40 minutes at the end of the shift to go and sit and gist. We do the same, right? But we can see that that has an impact on even the work that we do. We know that the breaks are very little. 1 hour is so little when you're doing a 9-hour shift. So you build 2 to 5 minutes micro breaks after every 50 minutes of content review to reduce cognitive fatigue. So around an hour, you should take a 5 minutes break. So let's do the maths. How many minutes is that in a shift? Let's just use an hour. So every hour you take 5 minutes. Every hour you take 5 minutes, and it's a 9-hour shift. 45 minutes. So when do you go and eat? But you are not allowed to go into the production floor with your food. Yes. No, even the content moderators. Exactly. So that's a huge, when you want to, yes. So that's also one of the huge problems that we have that shows us that the work that we do don't even recognize mental health or even physical health. But it's important that we take 5 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes of micro breaks every 15 minutes. But it's unrealistic considering the situation that we find ourselves. And this is one of the things that we should also push as we push for policies and changes and whatever to prioritize such things to be implemented. So some organizations will schedule well-being breaks, separate from lunch, blah, blah, blah. And those ones also is the same issue. We've seen when they tell you to go for wellness break and you don't even want to talk to the counselor because there's nothing to talk to them about. You don't feel your needs are met. You feel it's not confidential enough. So you just go there, make stories about the cats, what's happening in town, and then you go back. And it has nothing to do with you, nor help you in your path to recovery or also just the relief that you need. So there's connection also between diet and mental health. I know people don't talk about this. It's very important that as we talk about healing, we talk about recovery, care, to also take care of our diet. Because our diet is also one of the key things that will tell us, like, what we put into our body is who we are. Isn't that what they say? What you eat is who you are. Is it true in Africa? Is it true? Is the pocket equivalent to what you eat? I know it's quite a challenge to really have a nutrition-rich whole food to support your mood and brain function. I know there's that food that when you eat, that day you feel so happy. Do we all have that food? Someone said chapati. Can I hear your favorite food? The food that when you eat, that day you feel so satisfied, like you've been given 1 million Kenyan shillings. What food is that? Ugali. Chicken. Ugali. Someone said egusi. So it's important that we keep eating good, healthy foods that also improve even our mood. I know the economy might be hard, but we have to be intentional about taking care of our health, especially taking of fruits, water. Ensure you take a lot of water in a day. A lot. When I mean a lot of water. They said 8 cups of water, but it should be more than that. I know as we've been seated here, even me, myself, have not taken water today. Anyone who have taken water today? Because it's cold. Tea is not water. I took tea. Who has taken water today? So you can see the ratio. The people who took water are not even up to half. So that's a problem. It's important that we take a lot of water, take a lot of fruits, watermelon, 20 bob you are passing, take that watermelon. You would not die. You will not die. You want to save, yes, we know, but make sure you eat a lot of balanced diets. For women, ensure you take vitamins, check your iron. Am I right? Probiotics, yeah, exactly. So even as ladies, as we do this work, it affects a lot of hormones in our bodies and all that. Please ensure you take care of yourself. Get the doctor to give you vitamin C's. We don't take vitamin C's, but it's important to supplement if you cannot take enough fruits to cover for that. But I really discourage taking the supplements. I prefer you just have a timetable, take fruits. In a day, at least take a fruit. Take enough water, take a fruit, get some rest, even if it's hard. Have some screen. You know, even for children, there are is it screen time they call it? So even as adults, we really need that screen time. Take an hour after work or 2, turn off your phone. You don't need to turn off, just put it on silent and leave it there. I know you're not a doctor. Nobody will call you to go and save a life, isn't it? Nobody will call you that there's an emergency CS or operation. Turn off your phone for at least an hour or 2. Focus on yourself. Focus on yourself. Take care of yourself. Invest in your own self, especially in what you eat. So high quality diets are constantly associated with lower rates of depression, anxiety symptoms, and overall mental distress. So please, let's invest in what we eat. Eat balanced diet. You know what balanced diet is. If you don't know, please go back to the primary school when we were taught the balanced diet foods. Protein, carbohydrate, blah, blah, blah. Please go back to those and ensure that you're eating healthy, so that even as you are going through these mental health challenges, you don't also become sick physically with some deficiencies, low immunity. When you go out, the flu hits you. Every week, 2-3 weeks, you're having flu. That's a sign of low immunity. And why? Because you're not eating fruits and healthy foods. Yeah, so you deserve care, not just to survive. I know we've been surviving, but I will urge us today to move from surviving to healing and striving. And thriving means intentional about our overall well-being. So we can see the next slide. What does this tell us? Big smile. Fake smile, exactly. And what else? What? Someone is doing Makeup class. What? Okay, now we are going to makeup class. But this is a picture of a lady who is just faking the smile for everyone, isn't it? But she's actually going through a whole lot. So we don't need to look like this when it comes to mental health. That's what he's telling us. We don't usually look like this, isn't it? But I will tell you, when our inner selves look like this is how our inner selves look like when we're going through mental health illnesses. Let's forget about the specs, the lip gloss, the mascara, like you're saying, the eye pencils. Hidden in it is this person. So we need to work intention, because nobody will come and meet you and say, oh, you see, AC, you are looking so bad. No, because physically you're looking perfectly well, but inside, this is how you look. So it starts from us from within to know that we are struggling and we should seek for help. So discover the secrets and find your own path. At the end of the day, it's your own individual journey, in as much as people around could help you, but you first have to accept. Most people are in denial. When even with the diagnosis of PTSD, depression, they will tell me, I'm not depressed. That's what the doctor said. But you have to accept, because acceptance is the first step to healing, because that's when you're able to reach out your arms for others to help you. So thank you. I'm open now for questions. Yeah.
Round of applause to Miss Kauma. Is it Kauna?
Kauna, yes.
Okay, Kauna. Has she been marvelous? Has she been marvelous? You know that time when she was asking, how those people who fail to wake up in the morning, then I recalled that there are those people of us who are seated here, when they go to bed is to watch a movie using their phones.
Yeah.
You fail to sleep. You start sleeping at around 4. By the time you are waking up, it's 9. Because your brain has to rejig itself. Huh? And then there are those people, tomorrow is Friday, isn't it? There's something, you Kenyan, you not, there's something called a luta.
Okay.
How many people know a luta? It's when you leave your home on Friday, you'll be back on Monday or Sunday evening, ready for work on Monday. Yes, it's called a luta. So there are those people who are fond of doing that. Those are for men. For ladies, they have a small pouch. No, it's a small pouch. You know your clothes are not so baggy like mine. So 3 clothes in your pouch. That is their aluta for that weekend. And some big boot shoes and small shoes that fit in that pouch. So I know that drill. Huh? They are looking down. Anyway, similarly, because I work in the media world, because professionally I'm a journalist, but I do communications for organization. But when I used to work as a journalist, an active one, how did I know that I was undergoing mental health? I could finish a 750 ml of vodka. Then we didn't have things called Red Label. We didn't have those things. We used to have vodka, and then we used to have Blue Moon. We used to have KC. So I used to take one in one sitting myself, and that was daily. Yeah, daily. Because why was I doing that? I used to work during the day. I used to report to work at noon, leave at around 7. I was meant to sleep from 7 to around 11, then come for night shift. The night shift ended at around 11. By the time I'm like really sleeping, I could be sleeping at 6 a.m. in the morning. Because after the night shift of working, the first thing that when I get to the house was to do what? Was to first fix a meal. eat, have a shower, then bathe. So before that, by 6, I could catch a sleep. And sometimes, especially, I used to dread the weekends. The weekends were so bad for me because in media there is what we call activations. How many people have seen in their neighborhoods the so-called today celebrities? They come activating maybe something for a client. Like for me, my work was, that time, I used to do activations for people to sleep, to use treated mosquito nets in their houses. So it was in rural Western Kenya. So Saturdays, that was my work. You are from the night shift. By 9 a.m., you know, you've not slept, because I usually slept at 6 a.m. By 9, I need to be up to go to the field, go and educate, create awareness why people should sleep in a mosquito-treated net. So I could not sleep. I could not have good sleep. And because I've gone to the field, in the evening, meet the boys for another drill. Off. So that's how but I had to quit I quit that job. Actually, I quit. And then that's how I started now working in the human rights world, etc., and up to where I am. And I'm glowing because I no longer do that. As you can see, Cindy. Anyway, do you have questions for Kauna around mental health? I've explained my story and the media. It doesn't just apply for people who work within the digital field. It also applies. And then I have a very good example. During COVID, when things just went south, I remember that time also, because I was confined, although I was an essential service worker, because of my work as a journalist, I was an essential worker. So I could move. I had the liberty to move. I could move from my place, go to town, go to places. All I needed was, I'm an essential worker because of media. So the police never arrested me that time. But unfortunately, it's also the time that I also was almost falling into drunkenness. You could go, I know clubs, restaurants were closed, but you could be hidden inside, still imbibe. Those are how I used to cope. It's a negative coping mechanism. It's not a positive coping mechanism. It's a negative one. Because when I also got fortunate to be trained on mental health, and that's how I had to revive myself, saw the glory. My eyes were cleaned like Peter when he was going to kill those people was it in Jerusalem? That Bible story. Huh? Paul, it was Saul before he became Paul. At least I know some scriptures. Huh? Yeah. So, I was told, if you do something more often than what you don't do on a daily basis, that is also a symptom of mental health. Huh? Not necessarily what she mentioned. Huh? Sometimes if you do something continuously, more than what you have been doing, that is a symptom. Because it's a psychological thing. Actually, mental health is not bad because it's about your hormones in the body. When it starts going to the negative side, your body is emitting more of it than the good ones that makes you happy and stuff. So the more the negative hormone is coming, makes you continuously do the bad thing. Yeah? Like if you used to take, let's say, for example, myself, if I used to take one beer, I start doing 4, 6, 7. That's the negative side of it. If you started coming home early, let's say by 5 p.m. you are home, and then you start coming 6, 7. All of a sudden you start slipping away. You come the following morning. That's a danger. It's a negative effect of what is happening. It's a symptom. It's not overtime. There are things, overtime is explained, it can be explained. Something that you do, and it's actually an unconscious thing, but I believe you can be able to notice. How many people have questions for her? Or how do you cope? What are your coping mechanisms? I told her I work from home. He's my colleague. Yesterday we had a discussion. I was telling him, because I work also from home, although we have a physical office, you are at liberty to go or not. But I prefer working home. But every day, if it reaches 4 p.m. or 5 p.m., I go for at least 5 kilometers walk, personally, every day. That is how I break from that desk. 5 kilometers walk over the hood. In the hood, just see things, talk to people whom I know, but I'm walking. So I would like, even, as you ask her, what are your coping mechanism? I know your lunch is ready, but I fed you very well. It's coming, I've been told. Yeah, good. A question, or just have a conversation with her?
Mine is not a question, but something that help me in day out. I actually comfort myself with one thing, that it is okay not to be okay.
What does that mean? It's okay not to be okay?
Yes.
What does that mean?
On days that I'm not okay, I actually comfort myself that I'm okay.
Define that.
Kauna, you can help me there.
No, it is you, it's not her. It's okay not to be okay, or it's okay to be okay?
It is okay not to be okay.
And then how does it translate? Because, how many Christians are here? Because I want to offend you in one way or another. There are those people, remember when her slide that was saying, everything starts at your individual level, isn't it? And there are those people who say, it's just God. Just God. He'll find a way. How will he find a way when you are not finding the way for you? Does that mean like that? Definitely no. Give Nico. Nico will explain. Huh? I know those people who say it's God. He'll find a way for me.
I'm not explaining.
The same problem.
I'm not explaining, but I just want to give it a different perspective.
Please do.
When she's saying that it's okay not to be okay, it's like it's normal to be angry, to be anxious, to worry about tomorrow. So that's normal. And at times, if you don't feel that way, then maybe you have a problem, because now it's like your judgment is crowded. You can't see the situation how it is. I think that's how I understand it.
Oh, thanks a lot for that perspective. But I'll also throw it a ball. How many people have stress balls? Those things you press as if it's the end of the world. How many? By show of hands. 2 people, 3, 4, 5. Awesome, I like those people. You work your hands. But let me throw a spanner to what he has explained and to what she has explained. There are those people who wake up every morning, even instead of telling people in your household or somebody whom you see, good morning, how are you? Did you sleep well? The first thing, why are you stepping on my doormat? Do you know how much I cleaned? Do you know the cost of the detergent to wash that thing? Huh? How many people have seen people in their household like that? The first thing, they keep on being angry with other people instead of having conversation. That is not okay to be okay. Yes, I understand it's okay to be angry, but you cannot just wake up and be angry with everybody. But it's a problem. If you see people like that in the house, find a way of having a conversation which makes them happier, have their days happier. Any other person with a good experience, not my bad examples? Okay, good.
I'm saying our mother used to behave like that.
Because you did not wash the dishes at night. The first thing that when you're in the house, for me when I was growing up, I was being told, the first thing you wake up is to do what? Go open the living room windows, ensure it is clean. Go to the kitchen, ensure it's clean. If it's a latrine outside or if it's a toilet outside, ensure it is clean. Why? Those were your first entrance to everybody in the entire world, isn't it? Ama nimesema uongo? If it's ready. No. Jesus. Okay? So, I love being mindful. I'm just being told. My audience here, you'll still hear my voice, we shall still talk to each other. But for my online audience, you'll miss my jokes because I want you to go and have your early lunch. So that when we'll be having our early lunch, no, our late lunch, you'll be already back and we will have balanced the equation. You'll enjoy your lunch early, we'll enjoy our jokes fast. I hope that's much better, isn't it? Yeah. So, do you have any further examples? How do you cope? How do you enjoy life outside there?
Hi everyone. I don't know if I'm going to talk about
Please
coping,
just talk.
but
Free
what
your
I'll
heart.
say
Free your
is
heart.
first figuring out what mental health illness, I don't want to say illness, but whatever it is that you're struggling from, it could be anxiety, it could be depression. First figuring it out yourself is very important for you to be able to find out things to cope with. I am having an anxiety attack right now because I'm very scared, but whatever. Anyways, first figuring out what you have and then figuring out how to cope with it is very important, because relying on other people when you yourself don't know what you're going through is a problem. I'd say that. I think figuring out what mental health problem you have and researching and working with people who have the same exact thing is also very important, because they would give you an example of what they have used or how they've been able to get help